It's like a Jeep or motorcycle thing. Like when you just see another, like you just give them the head nod.
Yeah. You do helicopters at each other.
Yeah. Like, hey, like, yeah, different kind of head nod.
You see another hog, you know.
Yeah, it's the hog nod.
Wow.
It's the hog nod life.
Oh my goodness.
How did we get here?
I need to go.
Hello, Jasons and Melissas, and welcome back to the fourth and final season of Rewatching Home Movies, a weekly watch-along podcast where three friends break down the 1999 animated series Home Movies. My name's Tim, and I'm obsessed with home movies.
My name's Adele, and I'm a home movies newbie.
And my name's Marcin, and I've never seen home movies.
Home Movies Season 4, Episode 7, titled Curses. Original air date February 22nd, 2004 on Adult Swim. Written by Brendan Small, Bill Broaddus, and cast directed by Lauren Bouchard and produced by Jack Ferriolo. Synopsis for this episode: Brendan gets in trouble for making a movie about a foul-mouthed robot. Meanwhile, Coach McGurk tags along with Eric to a journal writing class.
Bum, bum, bum.
What's your favorite curse word?
Shit.
Shit's good.
Yeah.
Fuck is fun. You know, we're here in the States, so cunt is not like a traditional like use in every other sentence. So that's, I don't know, that one can be fun.
I mean, our mutual friend Teresa uses that constantly, and I used to use it before I knew it was a bad word, because I used to listen to a lot of Australian podcasts, and that was my introduction to that word.
You just thought it meant mate.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. They're like, oh yeah, me and all the cunts were together, and I'm like, oh yes.
Right. I like the fun smash ups. Like, I know for a while, former guest of the pod, Amy Blaze, her favorite curse was twat waffle. So like a good like mashup of curses and items is a good one too.
Yeah.
So what about yours? What's your favorite cuss word?
I know I asked the question, but now I have to think about it. Man, there's not that many, is there?
Man is a pretty bad one. Fucking got him, dude.
Yeah. I mean, piss is funny, but in a British in the British language, because over here it's like we're mad, but over there it's like they're drunk. So that's fun.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, you're fucking pissed.
Right. And I love letting out a random like, what the piss?
That's a South Park. It's a piss. Piss is good.
I'd say mine's shit, just because that's the one I use the most, just naturally.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Well, before we get into everyone else's favorite curse words and this episode, we need to get into the creative corner, shall we? The creative corner, of course, something in the realm of creativity we're producing or consuming. And as you know, we just updated our audio equipment, so no one is going to bring a creative corner.
Keep it in. Keep it in. Keep it in.
That scared the shit out of me. Nosferatu.
He's bad.
So no one's gonna.
He was flickering the lights when he did that.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
With his hog.
With his, very like helicopter style. Yeah. So creative corner. Who wants to go first or shall?
I'll go first.
Adele.
So I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not, but there's this show that came out in Australia in like the early 2000s called Kath and Kim. And it stars these two comedians who play mother and daughter. And because it's set in the early 2000s and because it's Australia, it feels like a time capsule from the early 2000s, but in an alternate universe. So it's very, very funny. Tim and I binged it over. This was quite a few years ago when we binged it, but it was a few weeks. We watched the whole thing.
And I would do it again. And
there are movies, and I don't remember how many seasons there are, but enough to get a feel for who they are as people. And I just really wanted more people to be exposed to Australian humor. More specifically, early 2000s.
They're like really big in Australia, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How often do they say the C word
in the show? I don't think they say it at all.
I don't think they do. It's I wouldn't say it's family friendly, but it's pretty digestible for the wider audience.
Yeah,
it's very fun. The woman who plays the daughter, she is like such an unlikable character.
Yeah, it's so good. And the fashion, oh my God, the early 2000s fashion is iconic. It's just, it's a little time capsule.
I'm staring at it. I'm looking at images of it right now. And if I didn't know any better, I would have, if you showed me just images of this, I'd be like, oh, this is a sketch from Mad TV. This is,
it's got that vibe kind of.
Someone's got like a bad perm wig that they're wearing. And it's like, I know exactly which cast member of Mad TV would be playing that character.
Stuart! I'm pretty sure they're pretty well known in Australia because they were on like a sketch show. And then this show was a spinoff of that.
I feel, something like that. Like these were two characters in their sketch show that ended up like kind of really taking off.
Hey, I'm really bad at getting the facts for my creative corners.
That's fine. Kath and Kim, I think, is all you need to know.
Yeah, you just need to know the title of the fucking show, and it's really good. And the theme song fucking slaps.
Yes.
How's it go?
Yep.
Sing it.
The Joker is me.
Lady.
The Joker is me.
Is that Joker 3?
Yeah.
Well, funny story. That song is in Joker 2, isn't it?
I believe Lady Gaga covered
that
song.
Lady Gaga does a cover of it. Yeah. And when we heard that, we're like, hey, it's the Kath and Kim song.
I'm sorry. If you like the Joker 2, I'm sorry for you. But they butchered that song in the show. I was so excited to hear it because it got leaked that song was in the movie. And then when it came up, I was so sad and disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sad and disappointed the whole time.
Yeah, for many, many, many reasons.
They stayed on brand.
Yeah. Well, my creative corner is the Joker too. So.
There's the new Australian Taskmaster show I still haven't watched, and I don't know any of the cast members, but I would not surprise if any of these characters, if they're still popular in Australia, popped up on there.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
I didn't know Andy Milonakis was in Kath and Kim.
Who does he play?
That's not. That's a joke.
What?
I forget the woman's name. That's her friend in the middle here.
Oh, what's her name? Shannon?
Sharon?
Sharon's my favorite fucking character. I love Sharon.
Yes, Marcin was making a joke that Sharon looks like Andy Milonakis.
I don't know who Andy Milonakis is.
Right. He puts cream cheese in his gold locket. It's his show. You can't tell him what to do.
Who is he?
He had a dumb show on MTV a million years ago.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Kath and Kim, I highly recommend. It's a very funny show. Very bingeable, very good.
Very quotable.
Yes. Give it a good watch through, and then it'll be like one of those like shows you can put on in the background while you're eating or doing whatever else.
Yeah. But you won't be doing what you wanted to do because you'll be watching the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Kath and Kim, great creative corner, Adele.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Marcin, would you like to go next, or shall I?
I will. So, Fallout New Vegas Part 2. No,
let's do it.
No, I'm joking. I only bring that up because last time we were doing it, Tim got to me and was like, "Hey, man, we're 35 minutes in here. We got to start the episode." And I was like, "You know what? You're right." But
save it for next week.
Yeah, absolutely. My creative corner is a podcast, and I think I've brought it up a few different times with you guys before, but I don't think I've ever had as a creative corner. So I moved recently, and the last time I moved, it was by myself, and it was a solo venture over the course of 18 hours, one day. And I remember just binging this one podcast the entire time. And, I guess when I get into these horrible moments of my life involving moving, unpacking, all of that, I get nostalgic and I'm like, let me go back and re-listen to those podcasts I was enjoying the last time I was in hell. So I went back and I re-listened to it, and it's such a good podcast. It's called Dead Pilot Society, and the premise of it is that the host is one of the screenwriters and writers of the sitcom Friends. I've never seen Friends. Don't at me. I probably won't ever watch it. But it talks in depth about how TV shows are made and how they're written. And a lot of them are bought, but they never get a pilot. They never get sold. They never get picked up. They never get the table read that a lot of these writers want to get to, because table reads are really fun. And as a writer, you spend all your time on a script for like months, like maybe even years, to the point where like you're the only one who sees this or hears this. So when you hear it finally in a table read with actors, I don't know, it's very fulfilling, and it's something that a lot of writers want to happen. And sometimes, a lot of the times, people don't get it. More often than not, and there are more projects and more scripts that are bought every single season than there are shows that actually get made. So what the show does is it gets cast members, like actual actors, together to read these scripts in a table read, and it basically just puts it out as a full episode. They do interviews with the writers, and then they have like basically audio dramas with like very recognizable actors and actresses playing these roles. The first episode is a pilot called Formosa. It's about like these 1920s like producers who are trying to like really like become real filmmakers, but they're stuck in like the porn industry. They're essentially making like really good porn movies, but they want there to be some substance. And it was written by the same people who made Reno 911. And the actors that they got for the first episode, Formosa, to play the two characters on first episode Dead Pilot Society, is Paul F. Tompkins.
Nice.
And Ben Schwartz.
Nice.
There you go.
And they,
what a duo.
Yeah, they do a fantastic job. It's really funny. It's really cool. The thing that I really like about this show is that you listen and then you kind of become upset that these shows never get made, because a lot of them are just really good. And it shows that, you know, just because your script didn't get made doesn't mean it wasn't amazing. There are so many shows and pilots and writers who are talking on the podcast about like what happened, their experience, and like how much effort and love they put into these stories that just never got picked up. There's a few different ones that I listened to recently, but it's a very interesting listen because you start to pick up not only on how studios twist creatives' ideas, but also on how the world can determine what gets cut. So, for example, in 2016, there was an election that happened, and there was a script that was written, and it was basically about a Muslim American family, just like essentially a sitcom about them being Muslim and being Americans and just like dealing with that. And it got picked up, it got bought, but they just rejected it after the election happened because there is this push for more right-leaning conservative material. And so a lot of that stuff got shelved. And the more you listen to it, you see that when The Office was huge, mockumentaries were huge. So like mockumentary TV shows became a huge thing, Parks and Rec, fucking What We Do in the Shadows. It just kind of shows how like one giant thing happens and now all these studios are like chasing a trend, and all of these trends are not going to go as far as you want it to. So it really kind of shows how pop culture is kind of twisted by the people who own the studios. If you just kind of keep listening and keep kind of picking up on the details, like a big one that I hear from like screenwriters, the notes that they get when they're, you know, showing off a script from the studios is they don't want to portray losers. So, you know, people with big jobs and people who are CEOs or people who have money or people who aren't really dealing with the struggles of capitalism. Like, they don't want those characters. And a lot of times the notes that they get are like, no, they need to be happy. They need to like be.
So they don't want realistic people as characters.
Yeah, because then it kind of shows that we're all in this system of not doing so well. It kind of like
keeps up with the song and dance of it all.
Very much so. And that you kind of just pick that up. But again, that's not what the show is about. It's about like giving these writers a chance to hear their material be read with like amazing actors. And like Aubrey Plaza was in one of them. There's like all-star cast. Adam Scott was in a few of them, actually. Really good. There is one I really liked by John Hodgman. For people who don't know, he was the PC guy from the Justin Long PC commercials.
He's got a good podcast called Judge John Hodgman.
Very good. So, and the one he did it was called Only Child, and essentially it was pitched for FX, and he was going to play himself as a 14-year-old, but he was a 45-year-old man surrounded by like 14-year-old kids. The whole premise is like he's trying to be a grown-up, and he's like a grown-up and a small child, and he's like basically ruining his childhood by trying to be a grown-up already. Very funny show, but I don't want to go too in-depth into it. I just really, really like it. And it actually, when I started listening to it back in 2016, it helped me with my writing a lot. And it helped me really be able to hear like dialogue and how scripts are made and how they're written. Really love the show. I really love the podcast. I highly recommend Dead Pilot Society.
Nice.
Is it still ongoing?
Oh, yeah. I think it's on, it's like 178 was the last episode that came out.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's got a lot of stuff for people to listen to. I love the show.
Dead Pilots Society, wherever you get your podcasts. Very good Creative Corner. I am very familiar with that podcast. Very good stuff. It is my turn for the Creative Corner. I'm going to keep this a little short and sweet. Happening right now as we're recording is a convention going on called Open Sauce. I spoke briefly about a podcast called Safety Third, which was a bunch of like YouTube scientists, William Osman and the Backyard Scientists, and God damn it, I forgot. The dude with the glasses. Michael Reeves, thank you. They're all these like scientists, YouTubers, but they're very chaotic. Well, William Osman puts on this convention every year called Open Sauce. It is a convention focused on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. So he just gets a bunch of content creators together. Some of them are goofy weirdos like him. Some of them are people like Mark Rober who have like genuine science YouTube channels, right? The thing with Open Sauce is I think this is the second or third year he's done it. And he doesn't make money doing this. As a matter of fact, like he loses money pretty regularly doing this. So he does all these like silly little marathon, like kind of things to like, get money coming in. And one of the things he did was he created a channel called Sauce Plus. And it's $7 for a month. Adele and I are going to subscribe for it. But you get pretty much like the virtual ticket for Open Sauce. So anyone who speaks or any booths at Open Sauce, you get to see. But he also made basically like his own version of YouTube where all the science creators that put stuff on there, they get paid out 10 times more than they would with like per watch traditionally with YouTube. Now, obviously, they're not going to get like 1 billion views. It's kind of a closed thing, but they're going to pay out more. And you get access to their homemade show, Scare the Coyote, which is their unhinged version of Taskmaster that they did with all these YouTube scientists. So Open Sauce is the convention. It's going on literally right now as we're recording, but you can go to Sauce Plus. You can pay the $7 for the month. You can basically have the virtual ticket to the convention. You can watch all the speeches that have been done, and you get access to a bunch of other content creators, and it's all like ad-free and stuff like that. So Open Sauce is the convention. Sauce Plus is the subscription channel you can go to support. Dude, William Osman, leading up until Open Sauce, put out like a video a day of him and Michael Reeves and the Backyard Scientists trying to make a giant robot head to advertise Open Sauce. And it was such a journey and it was chaotic. And sometimes I feel so bad for these guys. They seem to have like some pretty shitty luck.
Yeah.
But
the robot head looked really good though.
It really did. So yeah, Open Sauce, Sauce Plus, William Osman, Michael Reeves, the Backyard Scientists. It's all kind of one and the same. But if you are at all into science, check it out. Some of it is very entertaining and some of it is just pure chaos, but I love it. I love it all. So there you go.
Nice.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, great creative corners, everyone. Are you ready to jump into this episode?
Let's go.
This episode opens. We're already in the movie. We see a diagram for the project Perfect Female Robot by Aganon and Jeremy. We see a series of computers and hear a series of beeps before we see Jason as Aganon and Brendan as Jeremy. Brendan is adjusting the emotional settings, shocks himself, and immediately Jason says, "Let's stop." They power up the robot, and she immediately calls them sailors and asks them if they want to have a good time.
Okay, so
yeah, I'm just gonna say, right, I'm very uncomfortable at the beginning of this episode. Very uncomfortable.
She's got balloons in her bra and balloons in her butt,
which makes sense for the nipples of the boobs, but doesn't make sense for the butt.
They're pimples on
the butt. Yes.
Yep.
This was hard for me to watch because I have I have a guilty pleasure movie in weird science, and this is got to be a reference to either Weird Science the movie or Weird Science the TV show.
Right.
100%. TV show?
Yeah, there was a TV show too.
Pretty bad.
Never saw
it was a very bad TV show. Very, very
I
bad.
didn't see it either.
Listen, I think the point of this movie, how it is now, is to represent that not only with the cussing, but with the content, it is a little too much.
As a woman, I was so comfortable. Didn't faze me at all. That's a lot.
There's so many levels of this because, like, it's Melissa, and I feel like she would have stopped this like on day one.
Right.
She wanted a boobs.
They're called boobs, pal.
Yeah. Well, Jason points out she's coming onto them faster than a 5 gig processor.
Nerd.
And asks Brendan what he set her desire levels to. That's when Brendan says 25. Jason points out that her desire memories were filled with porn. Thousands of it.
Thousands of porn.
Well, now it's trillions.
Well, that's when the robot asks, "Who wants to touch my butt?" They argue back and forth, and the robot calls them a couple of fucking geeks, and they try to shut the power down. That's also not working, so the robot goes to leave while saying, "So long, motherfuckers." And that's when Jason says he thinks he hears his mother coming.
Does he?
That's when we hear Paula off screen saying she's home and asking what's going on.
This shot where Paul is like downstairs, the way that it's shot is like it's pointing up the stairs in the basement because it's clearly that's the only shot they can get of it, which makes no fucking sense because they could have just put her downstairs and whatever. But they're doing that to kind of show in a weird angle to make it look like she's downstairs, but she's clearly not downstairs. She's upstairs, and they keep saying she's down. I just wanted to point at that because that made me laugh very hard.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Melissa's silhouette because I think they just had Paula just screaming the lines.
Oh.
I don't think that was actually her.
I didn't even. It
I
was
could
such
be wrong.
Like a small little silhouette. I really didn't pay much attention to it.
And if that's the case, if it's Melissa's silhouette, and in the story that's supposed to be Aganon's mom, that means he made the robot in his mom's image.
Oh no! Let's not read into that at all. The robot asks who the fuck was that, and Brendan's character says, "Sit down, Ruth." That's when the robot pushes back and says, "Who the fuck is Ruth?" And that's when she informs him that her name is Sexy O'Sullivan.
Good name, I guess.
Yeah. When Brendan asks why they can't control her, Jason replies, maybe because she's Irish.
That line got me so hard.
Lizzie's in a box. Lizzie's in a box.
That's when their mom says that they're coming downstairs to see what they're up to. And then Brendan and Jason at the same time say, "Oh shit." Well, that's when we pull back to reveal that they are showing this movie to a bunch of their classmates who are really enjoying it and laughing. Jason, I think, even gives like a little thumbs up.
so we can hear the laughter while they're doing the movie. So I thought they were doing a sitcom thing.
Yeah, like a laugh track.
Yeah,
like canned laughter. That's why, it would have made sense that it's based off Weird Science, the TV show. But I don't know if the TV show had come out yet. What year did the show come out?
90-something.
Oh, okay, then it did.
Is the show still about two nerds making a woman robot?
And a completely different woman robot whose also name is Lisa.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1994. And guys,
hey, I was a year old.
You would not believe me when I say, but this show went for 5 seasons.
How?
It was the 90s.
We don't ask how, we just figure out a theme song for the Weird Science Rewatch podcast.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no. I think I'm sick that year.
We got 5 seasons, baby.
I thought we were doing Mr. Meaty.
Well, that's when we have a transition and we see Paula on the phone saying she did not know the language content of the film. Well, while this parent is complaining, Paula gets another call, and wouldn't you know it, it's Mrs. Adelberg, saying Junior saw the movie, and he yelled at the cat, and now the cat won't come out of the closet.
This is the first time we've heard Mrs. Adelberg's voice.
Ever.
Yeah.
And she sounds exactly like Cat Adelberg.
Yes.
That's why they love each other.
Exactly. So I did learn during commentary, this is kind of wild, but the voice that Brendan Small does for Ken Adelberg is like a voice / character he's been doing for years. He said it started as just like a goof with his siblings, but it was like a character he would do like on stage during comedy and shit like that. So yeah, it not only carried over to Ken Adelberg, but apparently after that, a lot of people were like, we'll change what the character looks like. Just, we want that voice.
Oh, boy. You know what is blowing my mind is that the parents were really upset about the curse words, but none of them mentioned, like, the sexualization of children.
The nipples.
2004, I guess.
So my guess would be like almost in like a Christmas Story style. All these kids watched that movie, went home, probably started cussing.
Oh, yeah. They didn't put balloons in their shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like, who wants to touch my butt?
You know, that's actually a catchphrase of mine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my opening line in all my stand-up comedy bits. JK.
Put marbles up your nose. Put them in your nose.
Yeah.
Do not do that.
Put them in there. Do not put them in there.
Well, while Paula is taking that complaint on the phone, the doorbell rings and it's Mrs. Muley.
Fully clothed.
Why do you give a shit, Mrs. Muley? You can't control Fenton. You can't do a goddamn thing.
No.
Well, Paula informs her that she can come in, but there's 2 people ahead of her. Then after that, she'll be able to yell at her shortly.
So considerate.
Yeah, very nice. That's good customer service. You take them in order that they come in.
Yeah.
Well, the next scene, we have Paula talking to Brendan at the table, explaining that he is right and cursing is an excellent way to convey emotion, but it's not always an acceptable one. And even says swearing when you're young can become a crutch. When you get older, you'll get lazy, and your vocabulary turns to shit.
When I heard that, if I had like seen this episode when I was a kid, I'd be like, fuck you, old woman. But now that I'm older, I agree with her. I can't think of a single sentence I can get through without saying fuck. It just is there. It's always there.
It's really bad when you're in a situation where you know you shouldn't cuss and you're like, why do I have to concentrate so hard on not cussing?
I think I'm pretty good at it because my parents don't like cussing, so
Yes.
I don't cuss around them.
I cussed in front of your brother once, and you told me after, you're like, you cussed in front of my brother? And I'm like, I did?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck if you cuss in front of me.
A mutual friend of ours was doing an interview at a library. He was in the children's section talking, doing the interview. I forget the exact sentence he said, but he said something along the lines like, is this where we fucking put the books? And and she kind of like jumped apparently and was like, oh, we do not say that here.
As a podcaster, I'm very self-aware of filler words, uhs and ums. And I feel like for some people, fucking turns into one of those like, yeah, you just go down to the fucking gas station.
Yeah. We have a mutual friend, Teresa, and she loves that word. And she sent me a voice message the other day, and it was like a minute and a half, and she said fuck 13 times. Within that minute and a half, I counted because I was like, I want to know.
Yeah. I mean, Season of the Cursed, we improvised most of the dialogue in there, and it became such a usage of fuck and fucking and fucker and all of that retroactively after the movie was over, we put like basically a rated R thing, but instead it's rated fucking R and fuck this and fuck that, because we had to lean into it at a point. So Paula's right here. You do just start using it as a crutch.
100%. Well, Brendan pushes back and says he doesn't cuss all the time. And Paula says this particular instance makes them both look bad. And that's why she invited all the parents to come over and watch a cleaned up version of the movie next week. And she'll have to review the script ahead of time. Brendan, obviously upset, asks if she's going to censor him. And she claims no. She's just going to take out all the potty mouth words. She also informs him that she will be giving him a curse jar, so every time he swears, he has to put money in the jar. She gives him a list of curse words and their value. Brendan seems very surprised the F word costs $3, and Paula points out if that's too expensive, don't say it.
What a parent thing to say. $3 in 2004 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 1.3 million. Paula, up until this point, has been pretty, hands-off with Brendan's creative projects. And absolutely rightfully so, this is the one where she's like, all right, no, we gotta step in. We gotta do some editing here.
Yeah, but, she only did that when people started complaining to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't have known otherwise.
Right.
I mean,
she's just trying to be a good, or appear to be.
Yeah. I mean, because she watches the movies eventually. She sat down and watched all of them that one time.
Oh yeah,
it's time to pay the price. Yeah,
that's how I really want them to end the last episode that way.
I'm not looking at Tim, so his facial expressions can't give it away.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Audience, well, you don't know this, but Tim does usually do this podcast naked, which is why we're not allowed to look at him.
Exactly. It's very common comedy rule. If you're ever uncomfortable, make yourself naked.
I mean, that's how you got...
Make everyone picture you naked by being naked.
That's how you got Count on the show. You guys were just hanging out naked.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. We earned his respect.
Yeah. It's like a Jeep or motorcycle thing. When you just see another, you just give them the head nod.
Yeah. You do helicopters at each other.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, different kind of head nod.
You see another hog, you know.
Yeah, it's the hog nod.
Wow.
It's the hog nod life.
Oh my goodness.
How did we get here?
I need to go. I have hogs to nod.
Oh. Well, gang, now we're at a soccer game, and Coach is telling Brendan that he agrees with his mom that cursing is a sign of ignorance, and then proceeds to immediately start cursing at the ref. Coach gives him the sagely advice that says there's no place for cursing in a civilized society, and then points out that if Brendan starts cursing now, it'll ruin him when he gets older. Coach then starts cursing again at the ref, asking him if he's making a call or taking a shit. He then tells Brendan you shouldn't cuss unless you know how to do it. Like he does.
He also told the ref, don't shit in my mouth. You're shitting in my mouth.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat your shit.
So in commentary, they do bring up a good point around now, which is the censoring, especially the word fuck. And I remember hearing this. I used to listen to the Office Breakdown podcast with the Office ladies. And they talked about when you would cuss on TV a lot of the time, they'd have to censor the mouth too, because if somebody says the word fuck, you're not supposed to hear the beginning of the word, the end of the word, or see what they call the mouth flap, or your lip kind of making the F sound for fuck. Yeah, you're not supposed to see any of that. And as they're talking about that, Coach slips in a fuck that you can clearly hear the beginning and a little bit of the end of.
Nice.
So
this scene where he was going on about how, cursing is bad and stuff while simultaneously swearing.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to end in a joke where he thought Brendan meant like cursing like somebody like witchcraft.
Yeah, putting a curse on someone.
But it didn't come to fruition, but that was in my
I don't
head.
like curses. One time I was cursed and I had a heart attack. It's not good, Brendan.
Right.
Can ruin your life, curses.
Yeah. Don't date witches is what I'm saying, Brendan.
Well, wait.
Well, this is Coach. He's ignorant.
Yeah.
He doesn't know any better.
And then he was like, you should only curse if you know how to do it right. And I was like, this has to be a fucking magic curse joke.
Right. Yeah. He says it's the creative use of words like poetry and Robert Frost.
They're called sentence enhancers.
Well, that's when Eric approaches and Coach asks him if he wants a fucking donut.
Did your parents, would they get mad at you when you were kids if you cussed at all?
I think up until a certain age, I distinctly remember one time I was probably like 13. And instead of being like, man, this sucks, I was like, man, this sucks, dick. And my dad's like, excuse me?
Oh, I wish I was there to see Mr. B's face.
Yeah.
You should have seen Tim's face. It was swollen after. That's a joke.
No, my dad would. Yeah. My dad would never. He did send my ass to my room like pretty quickly. And then there's an infamous story when I was in baseball. So this was probably, again, around 13 or 14. I was pitching, and in my opinion, I was doing a fantastic job. And the head coach took me out anyway, and he made me play an outfield. And then the next inning, somebody hit a ball in the outfield, and one of the other outfielders didn't run after it fast enough or some shit, right? So we're all coming back into the dugout, and my head coach is like, outfielders here. And I just walked past him, into the dugout, and he's like, Blaze, here. And I turned around, I'm like, fuck you. And my grandparents were sitting right behind the dugout. I've told stories where I get and again, I'm 13, 14 years old. I got grounded so fucking hard. And back then, we didn't have cell phones. I didn't have a computer or anything like that. They took the TV out of my bedroom, the stereo, my CD player, and just not to show my age, but they took all my pogs.
Oh, not the pogs.
So I couldn't even play pogs while grounded.
Oh, man. They take your beaker.
Just for the visual in my head.
I didn't have a beaker.
Just for the visuals in my head, what was the team?
Oh, it was probably some local business that's not around anymore. I think I played for a Ranch Pharmacy, which is a drugstore that's not around. I think I played for Ridoff's Hardware, which is not.
I don't know. I think as a kid, you should be able to call bullshit when you see it. None of this you said fuck you to an adult. Fuck that guy. Fuck him.
I remember my dad kind of giving me I don't disagree. You know what I mean? But it was your grandparents were right there, dude.
Did your grandparents say anything to you?
I don't think they said anything. They definitely heard it, which is why I got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Which grandparents?
Dad's side.
Yeah.
And my dad was a coach, but I did this to the head coach. And I'm not going to lie, the next day at school, a lot of people knew the head coach and which kid's dad he was. And a couple of the guys were like, hell yeah.
No.
Fuck that guy.
Street cred.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I mean, just a short one. I used to say, if I said this and I said this bites, and I remember getting, let's just call it a beating after that. And then I would be hanging out with Ed, and he'd be saying, fuck you, I'm going to tear your head off and shit down your neck. Nothing happened. Can't control that kid, they should tell me. He's a free spirit.
Work on that, Ed.
Yeah. Ed being Ed. You guys know what I'm saying?
The fact that
Classic.
he's younger than you too, you were probably like, what the fuck?
Genuinely. This man stole my toys and told me to fuck myself. You can't do nothing about this guy.
All right. Well, Eric asks where Melissa is, and that's when Coach informs him that she's in the net. Eric asks if she's playing goalie, and Coach specifies no, she's been stuck in the net for like an hour. We pan to see Melissa hanging upside down in the netting of the goal. Eric yells at her to go get them if that, in fact, is what you want to do.
Such a good dad.
Yeah, very supportive.
We love Eric. Is this the first time we've seen Eric this season? I think so.
He was at the door when they were going to get money. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think I don't think he had any speaking roles.
No.
So Coach asked Eric what he's up to, and Eric said he's dropping off the kids at Brendan's. Brendan asks where Jason is, and Melissa informs him that they'll just meet up with him later. I don't know if you noticed, but as Melissa walks away, she does shoot her dad a quick look of concern. So McGurk tries to make plans with Eric after he drops the kids off, but Eric informs him that he has to go to his journal writing class. Coach tells Eric to blow it off, but Eric informs him that he actually likes the class because it allows him to get in touch with his emotions. Coach again tries to get Eric to blow off the class to go to a movie or a bar, but Eric tells him that he is indeed going to his journal writing class. So, boom, right in the journal writing class, we see on the sign outside, this is journal writing for dummies. But we still hear McGurk listing off the things they can do instead of attending the class. Eric stands his ground and says he's going to stay. And that's when all the other students walk in. And that's when Coach notices that there's only women in this class.
Interesting.
So, yep. He tells Eric he now sees why he takes this class and even calls him a dirty dog.
Not my sweet Eric.
Bad influence. McGurk is bad influence on Eric. My jaw dropped during one of the scenes coming up here.
Well, Eric claims he's not there for the women, but Coach does not believe him. Well, the next scene we see Jason walking into the basement. Brendan asks him where he's been. Jason says he's been walking because they were supposed to pick him up.
Aww.
Brendan immediately pushes back and says Melissa told him they were going to meet him there. And Jason angrily tells Melissa that he did need a ride. Melissa says she's sorry and guesses she wasn't paying attention. Jason hits her back with one of my favorite lines this episode. Sorry doesn't cut it, Melissa. I'd like an apology.
I thought that was pretty redundant, and she still apologized. Yeah.
Melissa says, okay, I apologize. Well, Brendan asks Melissa if she's okay because she's been acting kind of weird lately. And Melissa does the thing she did back in camp where she starts talking very fast.
She's got to tell.
Says everything is fine. She's fine. And they should just get back to work.
I wrote, Melissa is upset because sexism. I assumed it was about the movie earlier. I thought that was going to be more of a conversation. I genuinely had no idea where any of this was going. I thought she was like, I don't really feel good about this movie we're doing, guys. And I was ready for that.
Yeah,
right.
Same. But she's chill with it.
Now we're back in journal writing class, and the teacher is talking to the quote-unquote new face in the class and asks him to introduce himself. Now, the voice of the teacher, and I believe literally every woman in the class, is done by Maria Bamford.
Really?
Yes.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Maria, I really enjoy Maria Bamford's comedy. And if you do watch her stand-up, she does have a tendency to do a lot of different voices. So it kind of makes sense to me that she would be the voice of most of the women in the class.
She was my doodle this week.
Nice.
The teacher or...
Oh, the teacher. She had a very sweet demeanor. Also, isn't this technically Paula's job?
This is a journal writing class. Paula teaches a creative writing class.
Interesting. All right.
But I could see this being at the same junior college or whatever.
I will say that when she is talking to McGurk, her hands are all over this man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. She's touching up on him, which when at the end, not to spoil anything, when he says they end up going out, that did not surprise me because she was all touchy.
Yeah. And she's like, hey, for the sake of all the other women in the class, do not come back. But for the sake of my interests, let's grab a drink.
They Maybe she kicked him out of the class so she could date him because she can't date students.
Oh.
Maybe
yes. And for the safety of
Yeah.
the class.
Yeah, that's true too.
Coach introduces himself, claims he's there because his buddy Eric dragged him there, and that he should probably mention that he's single and 38-ish. As he's talking, the camera pans over and we see Eric is waving to one of the students who waves back.
The way he's doing it, too, he's like doing the little ooh,
With the
fingers.
Little flirty
Yeah,
wave.
I call this the Jim Carrey grip, where the pinky goes down first, then the ring finger in the middle, then the pointer. And just specifically, he does it in Bruce Almighty when he grabs the keys. He goes, and then tosses them.
Oh, he does that in...
Yeah, exactly. The Jim Carrey grip. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
Nice. After the coach introduces himself, the teacher tells him that they look forward to hearing one of his passages. Coach seems confused and says he thought journals were private, but the teacher informs him that he only reads what he wants others to hear. She then calls on Sandra to read her journal, who informs everyone that she was dreading euthanizing Asia. That's her cat, in case anyone forgot. But Asia jumped out of her carrier and got hit by a car. Sandra obviously begins crying, and that's when Coach whispers to Eric that she seems very vulnerable right now, and he should probably ask her out.
Good! Great! Good idea! That's really good.
You should totally do it. You should totally do it.
You should totally do that. Yep.
Sandra just like talking about something deeply vulnerable and like crying through it, and I was like, this is what this class should be about, being vulnerable about your feelings. And then fucking McGurk, dude,
over there rubbing his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I'm telling you, this is why the teacher's like, for the safety and sake of everyone else. Oh, well, we're back in the basement. Brendan is going over the script when Jason asks him about the curse jar. Brendan explains it's supposed to stop him from swearing, so if he uses a curse word, he has to put money in the jar. But when he curses while explaining it, they both giggle, and Jason encourages him to say it again, to the point where they're just cursing and throwing money in and laughing, to the point where Jason says he's gonna pee. That's when Melissa yells, "I don't trust my father. I think he's seeing another woman."
Interesting phrasing.
Yes.
I don't want to like have a full conversation about this, but would you guys care if your parents started dating again in a timeline where I'm sorry, I'm the only one with divorced parents.
I was like, they need to get divorced first before I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the situation behind that divorce will play a factor too.
Yeah, that's fair. But as someone who has divorced parents, I don't care. Like, go find someone, get a hobby, enjoy your time on this earth. I don't know where. I don't know. I don't see Melissa's point.
I think it comes from maybe like romanticizing like the relationship she has with her father, and I think people who romanticize the relationship of their parents' relationship, they just don't want things to change. But hey, people are people. Men have needs, is what
about
in this episode.
What about her mom, who's 8 hours away getting what did Eric say?
Right, she left Eric for another man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I doubt Melissa knows all this. You know
that's
what I mean?
fair.
Right.
So, yeah.
She might just not want to share her time with her father, you know?
Right.
She wants to be the main girl in his life. I don't know.
Yeah.
Only she knows.
It's true.
Yep. Well, the next scene we have Sandra approaching Coach McGurk, and I think this is going to be our scene.
Hi. I liked your journal thing. That was good.
Thanks.
You want to go get a drink after the class, or even now?
No.
Oh.
I didn't take this class to meet someone, okay? I took it to examine my soul. I suggest you go find yourself.
Look, I am beginning to not want to go out with you, so I suggest you turn this around.
I love she just pulls it out.
What are you doing?
Angry
I'm writing
eyes.
about it in my journal.
Right now?
Yeah.
Can't you wait? Oh, name's John McGurk. M.C. Big G. U.I. Wait a minute. Wait, M.C. Big
You know what?
G.
You write it.
Then I took her journal and started writing in it. This is weird, comma, I said, and wrote. Wait a minute. This is getting too weird. You're welcome. You want to go out? What's so funny? Hey, you, and with the braid. You want to go out? Jeez, Eric, this is going to be tougher than I thought. Eric, oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where my jaw dropped at the end of that scene.
Yeah.
Eric has a way with
Yeah,
women.
well, he has his way with women. That's all I heard. The scene with Sandra, one, I didn't notice it the first time when we were watching, but like she has a cat pencil top, so she really cares about her cat, which is very sweet. But the quote I took from her, and I love very much, is "Go find yourself." Yeah, I suggest you go find yourself.
Hell yeah, that's a good one. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna play matchmaker, and I think she and Mr. Lynch start dating because they love cats.
Yeah.
Oh.
They can love cats together.
Are you trying to break up McGurk and Lynch?
They can throuple.
Yeah, Sandra doesn't want anything to do with McGurk. I don't.
Or open. They can do
That's
open.
true. I don't.
Polly's an
I feel like
option.
McGurk would feel a little. I think he's too insecure for a poly relationship.
That's fair.
All right. Well, now we see Eric and Coach in the car. Coach asks Eric what is going on with him and the woman. Eric informs him that her name is Joviana. Eric says he can't stop thinking about this woman. They met once when they first took a class, and then he didn't see her again until tonight. Coach asks why not, because it seems like they were getting along pretty well, as in they were making out.
Yeah, just to make it clear, at the end of that clip, McGurk turned and saw Eric and Joviana.
Joviana.
Joviana for
Yes.
That one in the making out, and they fell over, still making out. Which I do have a theory about this woman, but
What's your theory?
a woman. I think she's an Adelberg.
You know what? You're probably right.
Yep.
She gives Adelberg woman.
Yeah, she's got the hair, she's got the color scheme. I think she's an Adelberg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can see it. I can see it. Well, Eric explains that it's because of Melissa that he can't see her more often, and that Melissa would kill him if she ever found out that he was dating. Coach says he doesn't think that's true, and Melissa couldn't kill him, but Eric claims that she is vicious. Well, that's when we see Melissa open the door and say, "Hi, Daddy, I missed you." But then immediately asks if his lips are fuller?
DSL?
DSLs? And then mentions that she smells perfume? I think Eric is even like, "What? Me too? Yeah, that's weird." What's
Lying
going
to his
on?
daughter.
Well, she asks why his lips are puffy, and Eric claims he was inflating beach balls. And that's when Melissa makes the accusation he was kissing someone, and that he's a liar, and slams the door in his face. Melissa tells Eric to go home and that she's sleeping over at Brendan's for the rest of her life. She storms off and goes upstairs. Brendan is obviously confused. She tells Brendan, "I'm going upstairs. Bring a glass of water with you when you come up."
I like how they have that relationship, though.
Yeah.
She makes it
Right.
very clear. She is so at home almost immediately.
Oh, yeah. Well, on the other side of the door, we see Coach and Eric. Coach is saying sometimes families are tough, and then asks Eric if he wants to go to the titty bar. We hear Brendan on the other side of the door say, "I'm in."
But they did not take him.
No.
They better not have. Well, we have a scene where it's 4:13 a.m., We see Brendan is laying on the floor wide-eyed while Melissa is sleeping in his bed. Next to them, we have Jason meditating.
Never mentioned or referenced, but I love it anyway.
Right?
I love meditating Jason.
Didn't know he practiced Buddhism.
I know, right? I want more lore on that. And just like a one-off, like they just did it and didn't like say, like explain it or like.
He has to find. He has to find
more.
his own inner peace, and he's bad at it.
So does that mean instead of sleeping, he just meditates?
It would make sense.
Maybe. He did say before that his sleep schedule, his circadian rhythm is all off.
He said that in this episode?
No, he said that in the episode where he thought him and Brendan were fighting, so he called it like 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
And then Paula picked up and was like, "Hey, Jason." And he's like, "Hey, Mrs. Small, so what's going on?"
Yeah. It's like, it's 3 a.m. He's like, "Yeah, I know. I already went for a walk." We also have a quick shot of Melissa opening the door to Eric with a balloon that says, "Take me back," and a box of chocolates, to which she takes the balloon and chocolates and then closes the door in his face. So the following scene, we have Coach and Eric at a bar. Eric is explaining that Melissa hasn't talked to him in almost a week and he doesn't know what to do. Coach asks Eric to borrow his journal and Eric doesn't know why. Coach explains he's supposed to read from his journal tomorrow and he hasn't written anything yet. Eric says you can't just copy from my journal, and Coach says he's not going to copy. He just wants to see how Eric arranged his. Eric pushes back again and says he's not comfortable, but Coach says he'll make a deal. If Eric lends him his journal, Coach will tell him how to get Melissa back. So Eric hands over his journal and says, "How do I get Melissa back?" And Coach says, "I don't know, but I just fooled you."
Sucker.
Dick move.
He's a little scammer. He's got a scheme going.
Yeah.
You really do. Up next, we have Brendan, Jason, Melissa. They're having like a little production meeting when Walter and Perry approach. That's when Jason informs them it's a private production meeting, and Walter immediately says, "Fuck you, Jason."
Damn.
And then says, "Oops." Perry tells him you have to put 50 cents in the can. Melissa asks them if they have a curse jar too, and they said yes, everybody is talking about Brendan's curse jar. So they started their own. And it's fucking awesome.
I love that it says cursed can, but the can's crossed out, so it says cursed jar instead.
Right.
I almost like the sound of curse can.
Curse can.
I like the sound of the money going into the can. Curse can better.
I wrote down my notes. The curse word jar is the perfect example of crime having a price tag. It's like they like swearing and throwing the money in. They're like, I can do this now. Like this is something I'm allowed to do because all I have to do is put some little coins in here and I have it guilt-free.
Yeah. Yup. It's just another thing that if you're rich, you can do it. No worries.
That's why I say fuck all the time.
I love existing.
Well, it pretty much devolves into them just saying fuck over and over again and putting 50 cents in the can. But Brendan tells them the whole point is to not swear. But Walter and Perry just continue to cuss and throw money in the can. After they walk away, Melissa asks Brendan to not leave a glob of toothpaste in the sink every morning. Brendan puts money in the curse jar, but Jason points out he didn't swear. But Brendan replies, "Trust me, I did."
In his mind palace.
I mean,
What do you think his curse word was? Bitch.
Shit.
yeah, I think he was a little Australian boy for a second there.
Oh?
You think he thought it?
I mean, why wouldn't he have said it? He's been saying it the entire time anyway.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but by that very logic, it could have been bitch, and he just
Yeah,
didn't
that's
want to
true.
call her one.
Jason has.
True.
Yeah, pointed out her rich bitch dress.
Chocolate factory. I mean, I know she's like, don't put a glob of toothpaste in that, but that's kind of, I think that's kind of a reasonable thing to ask, but.
I mean, if you're both paying rent and living together, maybe, but I don't. If you're inviting yourself to stay at someone's house for an extended period, I would maybe, clean the glob yourself.
Squatters' rights.
Clean the glob yourself, lazy ass.
Yeah, Brendan, I didn't know you were paying rent here.
Exactly. Wait. Well, that's when Melissa tells Jason that after he showers, he might not want to leave his wet towels on the floor because that's unsanitary. After she walks away, Brendan says she's driving him crazy, and Jason points out she shouldn't be watching him shower.
What from that did he think that she was watching him shower?
I think maybe just because she said after you shower, you might not want to leave your towels on I don't know.
Maybe she's actually watching him shower. We
Yeah.
just don't know.
Who's to say? Brendan says he needs to get her out of his fucking house before he goes broke or insane. Jason says, why doesn't she just go home? Doesn't she realize she's not wanted? And that's when Brendan points out to Jason that he doesn't have to stay the night there either. Jason walks away saying, yeah, right, buddy. Good one. And Brendan puts more money in his curse jar. So we have a quick scene where Brendan approaches Eric under the bleachers. Eric says Brendan needs to talk to Melissa, but Brendan says no more talking. She needs to be taken care of.
I think this was my favorite shot of the entire episode. Just like, it looked so cinematic of them staring outside of the bleachers and the sun's coming in and they're just the backs to the camera and they're just looking out. Very menacing.
It's a very cinematic shot for sure. Yep, Brendan says he has a plan and that he'll handle it. Brendan then approaches from under the bleachers to Coach McGurk. He asks Coach what he's reading, and Coach informs him he's reading Eric's journal, his private journal. Brendan asks if he can read it too, and immediately Coach just hands it over. He's like, help yourself.
Is this another instance where they had his mouth covered to save time?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like the scene before that too with Brendan and Eric, they're like talking with their backs.
Yeah.
And same with when Coach and Eric were outside of the door. Most of their dialogue was from there. They just shot their back. Just back shots. What? Yeah? Huh? What? Okay, so McGurk wants to test his opening line of his journal, which is, so begins my journey inward, my journal to the center of McGurk. Brendan points out that it reminds him of that movie, Journey to the Center of the Earth, and Coach says it's supposed to, idiot. I'm being clever. Says he's trying to impress his class because it's primarily women. And as he's explaining himself, we see Brendan is stealing Eric's journal. So the very next scene starts with Eric asking Coach, what do you mean you lost my journal? And Coach says he must have left it somewhere or dropped it. Eric is obviously upset because there's a lot of personal stuff in his journal. And Coach says he did stop at the movies, so maybe he left it there. So Eric suggests they swing by the movie theater so they can find it. And that's when Coach again tries out his opening. Should it be Journal to the Center of McGurk or Journal to the Center of McGirth with a K at the end? McGirth.
I personally think that he himself wants it to be McGurk's kick-ass journal, but he's doing it for other people. He's like, I got to be clever with this.
For the ladies.
Because all ladies love a McGirth.
She's not a McGirth queen.
Oh, no. Real quick, before the next scene, the license plate on Eric's sign says HLA forever.
Yes.
I don't know what HLA is. I looked it up, and it...
Yeah, and I looked it up too, and I'm like, none of this makes any sense.
Yeah, it's human leukocyte antigen.
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
What was the initials again?
HLA.
Oh, so not HOA.
No. That would have made a little sense considering he's a real estate agent.
I looked up... No! I looked up HLA 2002 just to kind of give it more of a specific thing, and hot lesbian action popped up.
Oh, there it is. Okay, Eric.
That's such a not Eric thing to do.
You're just putting it out there. If that was McGurk's
Yeah.
license plate, I'd be like, yeah, it makes sense, actually.
Okay.
McGurk's a bad influence.
He has been.
Well, now we see Paula is reading the new script, asking them if they can remove the word damn, but Brendan informs her that they're talking about the Hoover Dam. So Paula recommends they change it to Big Hoover Water Stopper Wall. But ultimately, Paula does enjoy the new script. Brendan thinks it's too boring, but Paula disagrees. And Brendan says, well, let's shoot it. Now we're back at journal writing class, and it's John's turn to read from his journal. He starts the music and says, all right, so begins my journey inward, my journal to the center of McGurk.
Hmm.
I like the woman with the blonde braid claps.
Yeah.
No one else is impressed, really. Says that's a waste of a rental. He switches it up. I like he plays some like more chill music and talks about it's Tuesday night, sitting here with his bottle of Chardonnay, relaying the events from the day. Says he went to the video store earlier to rent 3 adult videos. Immediately, Eric is like covering his face.
This is great production value for a journal entry.
Yeah. Especially one talking about, yeah, I rented some porn. And obviously, I looked up some reviews online because I always look up reviews online, especially when it comes to adult videos.
Priorities. Yeah.
And this is like 2004, so that's impressive. One of the things I like about him reading from his journal is multiple times, not only the teacher, but then there's another student who are both like struggling to stay awake. The blonde with the braid seems to be into it, but no one else. And then, of course, Eric and Joviana are making kissy eyes.
She like licks her lips at one point.
Yeah. So this part, Coach talks about how he's missing a page and then just goes on to say like, oh, I remember writing about how I did laundry and there's a whole thing about like baby detergent is cheaper. And so I use that and it's all a gimmick. And let's see, we have coin laundry and I don't think that's right. So I wrote a letter to my landlord and said we shouldn't be paying for maintenance and have to pay for laundry. And then inevitably he finds the page and then he's like, okay, so I was doing laundry. I used the kids' detergent because it's like even the teacher makes a face like, really, dude, we're going to do this again.
I wrote down here, McGurk is trying out his comedy at the open mic again, isn't he?
Yeah,
If soccer
seems like
comic
it.
returns.
Also, maybe is he throwing out there that he rented some adult videos just to gauge some reaction?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, well, why doesn't he talk about the specific... Why doesn't he review the adult videos for the journal?
He's like, HLA? Anybody? While Coach is reading from his journal, we do see Eric and Joviana are making out. She stops him to tell him they can't keep making out in the back of classrooms and that he has to stand up to his daughter. Eric recommends that next semester they take cardio kickboxing. Joviana immediately says no. If they want to see each other again, it's got to be a real date. I like this big. Eric recommends a few classes like Introduction to Grief, Introduction to Latin Dance, Latin Grief, and Intermediate Hip Hop for the Grieving Latin. But Joviana says no, it's a real date or nothing.
Setting some boundaries.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
So Eric says he will talk to her. So now we are at the filming of the watered-down version of Brendan's original movie, with Jason's character telling Virginia that he secretly wants to be her boyfriend and that he loves her. That's when Eric walks in, and Brendan yells, "Cut." Eric apologizes and explains to Melissa that he really likes this woman in class and he really wants to go out with her on a date. Melissa says she understands, but the answer is no. Eric turns to Brendan and says he was supposed to handle this, and Brendan confesses that Melissa was supposed to find his journal and read it. Melissa produces the journal, but confesses she didn't read it because reading her father's journal would be gross. I like when she produces the journal, Brendan's like, whoa!
Yeah.
His scheme has been like implemented. This was part of his plan.
Yes. Jason and Brendan both encourage Melissa to read it. So we have a scene where we see Eric, Jason, and Brendan sitting around a chessboard while Melissa reads it. The pawns on the chessboard are gnomes.
I saw that.
Oh.
Yep. I think Jason asked Brendan if he wants to play again, and I think Brendan's like, nope, 3's my limit. Plus, we don't know how to play, and Jason's like, yeah, we just like the figures. But yeah, it seems like the pawns are all
I didn't even notice that one.
Dang. Well, Melissa comes back and confesses she couldn't read the whole thing, got to the part where it said, "Dear Journal, I am so lonely. I'm really pathetic and I really, really, really need a date. Eric claims he didn't write that, and Brendan apologizes, saying he put that in there. But Eric goes on to tell Melissa he has to go out with this girl. She wants him bad. Jason butts in and asks if he can take a shot at this, and goes on to tell Melissa that men are an interesting group and they have certain needs.
Everybody needs a need.
What's the needs? What are these men needs?
To hold us,
Flex
to hold
it on.
us. We need people to hold us.
Aw,
And
that's a good
to
need.
help us with the gutters.
Clearly.
It really is. I hated that one.
Yeah.
That and the shingles. I hate doing that. And plumbing in general.
Melissa interrupts Jason to say, "Not your men have needs speech again."
Oh, I always thought that argument was silly because women have needs too.
Yeah.
Right. This is not a one-way street.
What are you?
Nah, she was licking her lips. She's got needs too.
She just doesn't want her dad to have needs.
No. Well, it's weird when you think about your.
Well, don't think about it.
Right. I think at one point, Brendan just very bluntly says, Eric wants to have sex with ladies.
He cuts to the chase.
Well, Melissa asks for a compromise, saying Eric can go out on dates, but she has to meet the woman by the third date, and if she doesn't approve, they're history. And I like Eric's response. He says, hey, I'll kill him myself. They both agree on the terms. Melissa and Eric hug. I think Eric says, do I have my daughter back? And Melissa's like, yeah. And he's like, yay.
That's so cute. Eric's a
It was
cutie.
at this point I realized that her hair was gray because she's supposed to be a robot. I was very confused on it the entire time.
She's just an old robot.
She's a box bot. Well, Brendan says, thank fucking God, and throws money into his curse jar. So the penultimate scene, we're at the showing of the kid-friendly version of Brendan's movie. Brendan tells his mom to push play, and he's going outside because he can't watch this piece of crap. Paula starts the movie, and not only is the movie more watered down, but you can tell by the acting that they just are not feeling it. Jason confesses that he asked a girl out, and she said no, so he made Ruth the female robot. She powers up and says, hello.
I mean, they have a better name for it. They said She-Bot. That's such a better name.
Yeah.
Yeah, the final scene. We have Brendan sitting in the sandbox with Eric. Eric is thanking Brendan for what he did, and even tells him he has an idea for a movie about a man who has a very controlling daughter who doesn't let him date. But he ends up dating anyway. Brendan says that is the worst idea for a movie he's ever heard.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, Eric proceeds to pitch a movie about a rogue shark who terrorizes a small island community. Brendan says, I like it.
His frown goes from
It's
just real quick. He just or slowly it turns into a smile. He's like, I like it.
Is that the second Jaws reference we've had?
Yeah.
In a row? Because McGurk talks about Jaws last episode in Psychedelic.
Do you guys got Jaws on DVD? Which I do have Jaws on DVD. I bought it the other day and I realized it was the full screen edition, which I do not like.
Oh, so
Yeah, bars aren't there, and with the full screen, you zoom in to make it wider, and so you lose. Yeah.
sides. Yeah.
Damn, that's rough. Get a big CRT TV.
Just like
You just lose.
I said good day.
I got a small CRT. Yeah.
Oh, even
I also
better.
have a wide screen of The Dark Crystal, which is actually not a good decision. It's VHS too, so
Well,
We see Coach approach a bush to pee in while telling Brendan his movie sucks. He then informs Eric that the teacher from the journal class called him to kick him out of class, but after that asked him out for drinks. I like it. Coach gives Eric a series of, huh? Huh? Huh?
yeah, we're gonna go drink, and I'm gonna disappoint her like I disappoint every other woman in my life.
Well, Coach asks Brendan what he's going to do with the curse money and asks if he can have it. Brendan gives it to him and says, I don't care. Coach points out there's like $50 in here. And again, Brendan says, I don't care.
damn, that's all his money, right? I'd care.
Yeah.
$50 is a lot of money.
Yeah,
Seriously.
but He's
Well,
upset. He's upset that his movie's been, cut. There have been instances in cinema history, like, have you guys seen Taxi Driver? So there was the studio essentially said they wanted to cut the movie. They wanted to cut a lot of the gory scenes because the FCC wouldn't let them go. And Martin Scorsese, he was so depressed and upset that he showed up with a gun to kill the studio director who was essentially telling him to cut these scenes from this movie. And the only reason he didn't do it was they just changed the color of the blood in the scene to make it not like super red. But that's how depressed directors get when you're like changing their projects. I'm surprised Brendan didn't attack McGurk or attack anyone else. He's like, yeah, sure, take $50. I don't fucking care. I want to die.
Well, we hear a loud commotion from inside, and Coach asks, what was that all about? And that's when Brendan informs him that the movie was so boring that he spliced in a scene of 2 dogs having sex. I think it, to which Coach replies, oh, that thing I gave you?
That's wild. That's weird. Don't like that one.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is on so many levels.
Well, before the end of the episode, we do have one frame flashing real quick of 2 dogs having sex. And that is the end of season 4.
I paused directly on it. That's weird. I don't like that.
Curses.
No.
I don't like it. Their eyes are crossed. They're goofy. They're looking at the camera.
Yep.
Why did McGurk have this?
I don't want to know, to be honest with you. I don't want to know the answer.
And that was this episode.
Oh, what an episode.
Lot going on here.
Yeah.
Lot going on. I mean, you know, listen, I knew in interviews they said that as the show went on, this is on Adult Swim. You had some pretty wild shows going on at this time. I think this episode came with all the cursing was a direct result of them being told by Cartoon Network, like, hey, you guys can cuss more. It's fine. They also decided to maybe push the envelope, and that is this is the result of that of that.
Yeah, that opening scene, like in my notes, the first thing I wrote was boobs. I have been made to feel uncomfortable in this show many, many times. I don't think I've ever felt that uncomfortable that I did the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, do we want to let's give Jason a grade?
Yeah, that one's really easy. He wasn't super relevant this entire episode. It was strictly a Melissa and Brendan centric episode. He was there. He was a Buddhist. Yeah. You know, he was mad that he didn't get a ride somehow. Honestly, did a good job of Aganon. Was that the character's name, Aganon?
Yeah, and low-key, I like
it's a good
Aganon.
name. It's better than female robot when they literally had She-Bot right there. Sexy O'Sullivan, I think was the name. I can't remember. But she's Irish. But just, nothing super. I gave him an A. He was there, unique. That He didn't do anything over the top or super special. Him meditating was fun, but gave him an A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Nice.
Very fair. All right. As far as grades for this episode itself, who would like to go first? Or shall I?
You go first.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Gonna be honest, probably my least revisited episode of the show. Couple things that get me. McGurk's journey to the center of McGurk. And then being like, that was a race of a rental. Other than that, not much going on for this episode. Not my favorite. I would probably say I'm going to give this episode a C+.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yep. Probably the lowest grade I've ever given. Not positive. I'd have to double check the archives. But yeah, not really up there as far as my favorite episodes of this season, or if I'm being honest, the series.
That's so fair. Can I go next?
Yes, please.
I agree with everything that you said. And this is an episode, oh boy, that really reminds me that I'm a woman. So I'm going to give it a C for curses.
I don't know, because I started off this episode so uncomfortable. Like, immediately uncomfortable. And honestly, if they had just used, like, soccer balls instead of balloons, I think that would have made it a little bit better. But
it's
nipples. And then her being like, why don't you touch my butt? Touch my butt. Like, the cursing had no problem with that. Do it all you want. I don't care about the cursing. Just that part, there's one, like, saving grace for me, and that it has a payoff. Because a lot of these episodes have no payoff, and they're just like, yeah, that happened, save some for me. And the payoff here was, like, Brendan was mad that his shit got cut and, like, changed, so he ended it with some revenge, and then Melissa and Eric having some weird B storyline while McGurk's trying to get laid at the journal thing. I don't... all that to say, A+. No.
Best episode yet.
McGurk really made some great points. And you know what, Jason's speech about men having needs, I related to that so much.
And you know what? I've never thought about that before. Never thought about how men have needs. It's never been brought up to me.
Yeah, no, there's no epidemic I keep hearing about. No, the quote of like, "Hey, I'm getting really close to not wanting to go out with you, so you need to turn this around."
Oh my god,
bro,
that absolutely slaughtered me.
Like, I wanted to put it in the C range, but then the quote, "Go find yourself," that's sticking with me. So B-.
Okay, B- for balloon boobs.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's very fair. And I will say, too, even the commentary with Brendan Small and Lauren Bouchard, when they started it, and then that was like the beginning of this episode was happening, they both kind of stopped conversation and were like, oh, hold on. They kind of danced around a second. They're like, this is, yeah. And they're like, yeah, too much. They're doing too much. So
she could have, she didn't, why was she could have just been wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
I know that I know it shouldn't bother me as much as it did, but it did really quickly. And I got the same feeling I did when McGurk's tits were in my face, where it was just what is fucking going on?
Yeah.
This is the opening of the episode, and you care about curse words? This is what you care about?
These are your priorities?
Well, I think these are all good points and all good grades. And yes, yeah.
And yes.
And yes. And I think that I have nothing more I'd like to say about this episode. I don't know if you guys have anything to add.
Nah, brah. Nah, we're good. Let's kick it. Next episode.
Yeah. Matter of fact, this is usually when I try to think of a funny quote or pun or something from this episode, but hey, maybe this episode should just go find itself.
Or we just,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The end. That's going to do it for this episode of Rewatching Home Movies. Join us next week for Season 4, Episode 8, Honky Magoo. If you liked what you heard, check out our Linktree at Linktree/RHMPod. There you can follow, and subscribe. Send us an email to request free stickers, or leave us a 5-star review. I will read 5-star reviews on the podcast. Thanks to Nick for the refresh of our logo, and Chris Bongat for the lo-fi version of our theme song. On behalf of myself, Tim, and my co-host Marcin, and Adele, thank you for rewatching home movies with us. We'll see you next week. Bye.